Hello students, today we are going to discuss JEE PYQs of chapter Current Electricity. Okay, so let's begin. So the question which came in 2024, the current in a conductor is expressed as I equal to 3t square plus 4t cube, where I is in ampere and t is in second. The amount of electric charge that flows through the section of the conductor during t equal to 1 second to t equal to 2 second is C. Okay, so we have to find the charge. So how can we find the charge? So this is variable current. So variable current is given. So this variable current is given I equal to 3 t square plus 4 t cube. Okay, so we know that I is equal to dq by dt. Okay, so we can write dq as I dt. Okay, when current is given as variable, we cannot find directly by using q by d. So it can be found using I equal to dq by dt. So dq will be I dt. So this is a small charge flow through the, which is flown through the area of cross section of the conductor. Okay, in a small time dt. So we have to find the total amount of charge that flows through a section of cross section during 1 second to 2 second. So we'll integrate it both sides. So integrating both sides, dq from 0 to q, that is q is total charge, equal to I dt, and it is integrating from 1 second to 2 second. So from 1 to 2 second. Okay, so after integrating it will become q limits 0 to q, and it will become I is, what is I? 3t square plus 4t cube dt, and integration from 1 to 2. Okay, so after integrating it, we know that this 3t square, 3 is a constant, t square will become t cube upon 3. Okay, so it will become t cube 3t cube upon 3 plus 4, this t3, it will become, after integrating, t4 upon 4. So this is the value after integrating from limits from 1 to 2. Okay, now you can see after cancelling out 3 and 3 and 4 and 4 from this will result in, and this will become q minus 0, which is q. So q is equal to t cube plus t4 limits 1 to 2. Firstly you will put 2. So 2 cube is 8 plus 2 raised to power 4 is 16 minus, now put lower limit, it will become 1 cube is 1 and 1 raised to power 4 is also 1. So 18 plus 6, 18 plus 16, 24 minus 2 will be equal to 22. So that is the total amount of charge that is flown through the cross section of a conductor during time 1 second to time 2 second. Okay, so let's see the answer. So it is 22. Got it? So now let's move to the next question. Okay, next question is, if ammeter, in an ammeter 5% of the main current passes through the galvanometer. It is the ammeter which is made through the galvanometer. So the main current passes through the galvanometer. If resistance of the galvanometer is G, the resistance of ammeter will be. So this is the ammeter which is derived through galvanometer. Okay, so the circuit diagram this is galvanometer. Okay, we have converted this galvanometer by inserting a shunt in parallel to this galvanometer. So this setup will become the ammeter. Now 5% of the main current. What is the main current? That is coming in the main circuit, I current. So out of I, 5% current is going through galvanometer. The current going through galvanometer is marked as Ig, and current going through this shunt resistance having resistance S is I minus Ig. Okay, so I minus Ig current is flowing through that shunt. Okay, so this galvanometer having resistance G and this shunt resistor is having resistance S. Okay, now you can solve it. 5% of the main current is flowing through the galvanometer. That means Ig is equal to 5% of this I, means 5 by 100 into I, and remaining current flowing through that Is. That means I minus Ig is 95 by 100 I. Got it? So current value we have found. Okay, so now we have to find the G. What is the resistance of the ammeter? Total resistance of the ammeter. So firstly we have to find this S in the terms of G also. Okay, because answer is in terms of G. So we have to find this S in the terms of G. Now since both shunt and galvanometer are connected at same point, so their potential difference across both the galvanometer and this shunt resistance is same. It means Ig into G, that is the potential difference across the galvanometer, will be equal to I minus Ig, that is the current flowing through shunt, and resistance of the shunt, that is the multiplication of both is represent the potential difference across this shunt. So both potential difference across the galvanometer and shunt is equal. So after solving this Ig is 5 by 100 I into G, and it is equal to, what is this I minus Ig? 95 by 100 I into S. So this I and this I will get cancelled out. This 100 and this 100 will also get cancelled out. So this S will become G 5G upon 95. So this S will result in 5G upon 95. Okay, so it will become G by 90. Okay, so this S will result in G by 19 in the terms of G. Okay, now we can find the total resistance of the ammeter, means the equivalent resistance of this galvanometer and this shunt. So equivalent resistance, R equivalent will be, so 1 by G and 1 by S. So what is S? G by 19. So it will result in G by 19. 1 by S will be G by 19. So it will result in 20 by G. So R equivalent, or we can say resistance of the ammeter, will be G by 20. Okay, so this is the answer. This first option is correct. Let's see which is the correct option. So first answer is the correct. Okay. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Okay, so to measure the temperature coefficient of a resistivity alpha of a semiconductor, an electrical arrangement shown in the figure is prepared. The arm BC is made up of semiconductor. This BC arm is made up of semiconductor material. The experiment is being conducted at 25 degrees Celsius and resistance of the semiconductor arm is 3 milliohm. Okay, so resistance of this arm is also 3 milliohm. Okay, so I can write here resistance of this initially at 25 degrees Celsius. Okay, at 25 degrees Celsius the resistance of this arm is also 3 milliohm. arm BC is cooled at constant rate 2 degree Celsius per second. So it is the cooling rate. So this arm is being cooled at a constant rate of 2 degrees Celsius per second. If the galvanometer G show no deflection after 10 seconds, then alpha is. Okay, so we know that what is the resistance at 25 degrees Celsius, means reference resistance at room temperature is 3 milliohm. It is given. Okay, so after 10 seconds, now after 10 seconds, galvanometer show no deflection. It means after 10 seconds, its resistance is that amount that it is balanced Wheatstone bridge. That means it is following the balanced Wheatstone bridge condition. Balanced Wheatstone bridge condition. That is 0.8 milliohm upon all the terms, all the resistances are in milliohm. So no need to convert them. So what is this R at some temperature T? Okay, so I will mark it as R. So it is after 10 seconds when it is cooled to 2 degrees Celsius per second. Okay, so it is after 10 seconds. So R upon 3. Okay, so it will result in R is equal to 2.4 milliohm. It is after 10 seconds. Okay, so after 10 seconds, when we are cooling this BC arm at a rate of 2 degrees Celsius per second, then R will be 2.4 milliohm. Okay, then the difference, the delta R will be 3 minus 2.4, that is 0.6 milliohm. So that is the change in resistance over the change in temperature. So what is the change in temperature? That is 2 degrees Celsius per second, and in 10 seconds total change in the temperature will be, that is 2 degrees Celsius per second, and for how much second? 10 seconds. So it will result in 20 degrees Celsius. This is the total change in temperature. Okay, so we have found the enough things to find this alpha. So what is alpha? So we know that resistance, change in resistance is proportional to R naught delta T and is equal to R naught alpha, that is this constant of temperature coefficient of this resistance, and delta T. Okay, so we have to find this alpha. So what is this alpha? Is delta R upon R naught delta T. So what is delta R from here? 0.6 milliohm. And what is R naught? Initial resistance of this BC arm, 3 ohm, into what is this delta T? Total temperature change is 20. Okay, so it will result in 0.2, and upon 20 it will result in 0.01. Okay, after solving, and we can write it as 10 raised to power minus 2. Okay, and its unit is per degree Celsius. Okay, per degree Celsius. So 10 raised to power minus 2. So which option is correct? Third. So third option is correct. So let's see. Yes, the third option is correct. Okay. So we can do another question. Okay, so this is another question. A wire of resistance R and length L is cut into 5 equal parts. Okay, so when we are cutting the resistance R of length L into 5 equal parts, we know that R is proportional to L. Okay, if we are cutting this resistance of length L into 5 equal parts, its resistance will be also becomes 1 by 5. Each part will be having resistance R by 5 because L length, R is proportional to length, and for L length resistance is R. For L by 5 length resistance will be R by 5 because R is directly proportional to L. We are not stretching it, so area of cross section is constant for all the parts. Okay, so it will not affect the resistance, and resistivity is also constant for a given material. Only length is changing because we are cutting this length into 5 equal parts. So resistance of each part will become R by 5. Now if these parts are joined parallelly, then resultant resistance will be, so equivalent resistance of parallel combination. Each resistance is having R by 5 resistance. Each part is having resistance R by 5. So R by 5. So each part is having this resistance. Okay. So R1 is R by 5. R2 is also R by 5 and so on. Okay. Okay. So 5 plus 5 plus 5, 25 by R is 1 by R equivalent. That means R equivalent is R by 25. Got it? So first option is correct. So let's see. Yes, first option is correct. Okay. So let's move on to next question. Okay. So next question is, so this is next question. Wheatstone bridge principle is used to measure the specific resistance S1 of given wire having length L, radius R. If X is resistance of wire, then specific resistance is S1 equal to X pi R square L. If the length of the wire gets double, then the value of specific resistance will be. Okay, so what is given? We know that we have to measure the specific resistance S1. Okay, so what is specific resistance? Specific resistance means resistivity. Okay, which is also known as rho. Okay, so this is specific resistance. So we know that Wheatstone bridge principle is used to measure the specific resistance of given wire having length L. Okay, so if X is a resistance of the wire, then specific resistance is given by, this is resistance of the wire, this is specific resistance. We know that relation of R with rho is R rho L by A. Okay, so rho is given by R A upon L, which is same is given. So X is resistance of the wire and area is given pi R square, area of cross section, upon L. So this is the value of, this is the formula for resistivity. Okay, so resistivity, or we can say specific resistance. Okay, if the length of the wire gets double, then the value of specific resistance will be. Now you may think that if we double this length, the specific resistance will reduce to half. But is it? No, because if we are increasing the length, this resistance will also increase by 2 factor. If we are increasing the length by 2, this resistance will also increase by factor of 2. So 2 and 2 will get cancelled out, because specific resistance is dimensionally independent. Means it doesn't depend upon the dimensions of the conductor. It is a material property. Okay, it only depends on the type of material. It doesn't depend upon, it depends on the type of material and also physical condition like temperature. Resistivity also depend on temperature. If we increase the temperature of a conductor, then resistivity will also increase. Okay, and hence resistance will also increase, okay, with the temperature. That is known as temperature dependence of resistivity or resistance. Okay, so it is only dependent on material property, that what type of material it is. It is copper, it is iron, it is different from every material. Okay, and it is also dependent on temperature, but it doesn't depend on the dimensions of the conductor. Okay, so we are increasing the length, we are changing the dimension. What is the specific resistance? S1 by 4, 2s1, S1 by 2, or S1. So it doesn't depend on dimensions, so it will remain S1 as it is. Okay, so let's see the solution. So as specific resistance does not depend on the dimensions of wire, so it will not change. Got it? So let's move on to the next question. Okay, so this is the question. 3 voltmeters, all having different internal resistances, are joined as shown in figure. When same potential difference is applied across A and B, their readings are V1, V2 and V3. Okay, so choose the correct option. Now we know that voltmeter are always connected in parallel to a component across which potential difference is to be found. But in this question it is connected in series, so it is connected directly in the circuit. No other component is present, only voltmeters are present, and we have applied the potential difference across A and B, same potential difference across A and B. Okay, now we have to find what relation is correct relation. Okay, so they have different internal resistances. Okay, so this A and B, the potential difference across this V3 will measure the potential difference across A and B. Okay, this V3 will measure the entire potential difference across A and B. So this V3 will measure the VAB that we are creating, potential difference across A and B. Okay, but this V1 plus V2, the potential difference across this V1 and this V2 will be, these voltmeter will measure different potential according to their internal resistances, but sum of these potential difference will be equal to VAB, the total potential difference across A and B point. Okay, since they are connected in parallel, so potential difference across this V3 will be VAB, and potential difference across this V1, or the measurement in this V1 and V2 will be different according to their internal resistances, but sum of the readings of both the voltmeters will be equal to VAB. So according to this, V1 plus V2 will be equal to V3. So which option is correct? Fourth option. Okay, okay, so fourth option is correct option. So let's see another question. The electric current through a wire varies with time as I equal to I naught plus beta t, where I naught is equal to 20 ampere and beta is equal to 3 ampere per second. Okay, so this beta is I naught is 20 ampere, beta is 3 ampere per second. The amount of electric charge passed through a section of the wire in 20 seconds. So what things are given? We know that I equal to I naught plus beta t. Okay, so put the values of I naught. I naught is 20, and what is beta? 3 ampere per second, 3 t. Okay, so I will become 20 plus 3 t. So you can see that this I is dependent upon t. Okay, so this I is variable, this is not constant, so we cannot find it by dividing, multiplying it with directly with we cannot find the charge by directly multiplying this current with this time 20 second. Okay, because this is variable current, it is changing with t, so we have to integrate it. Got it? And for first 20 seconds, it means t1 is equal to 0 second and t2 is equal to 20 second. So for 0 to 20 second, we have to find the amount of charge crossed through a section. Okay, so we know that I is equal to dq by dt. This is for the variable current. This expression is for the variable current. This is the instantaneous current, dq by dt. Okay, so from this we can find dq is equal to I dt. Okay, so by integrating this, we can find the total amount of charge crossed through a cross section of wire. So after integrating both sides, dq, so it is from 0 to q, that q is the total amount of charge, I dt. So I dt we are going to integrate from t1 to t2. Got it? Now what is it? I is 20 plus 3t and dt. What is t1? 0. And what is t2? 20. Okay, now after we can this after solving this dq, it will become q and limits from 0 to q, so it will become q eventually, but this thing it will become 20 dt 0 to 20. We can separate out this integration for different terms, or we can solve it directly also, but it is for simplicity that you may not get confused. Okay, so it will result in 20, it is the 20 is constant, it will come out, and dt, integration of dt will t, so it will become 20 t and t from 0 to 20 plus 3 is constant, it will come out, and this t will become, integration of this t will t square by 2, so 3 by 2 t square from 0 to 20. Okay, so this will become q, and this 20 minus 0, so 20 into 20 400 plus 3 by 2, and this 20 square 400 minus 0, so 3 by 2 into 400. Okay, so it will result in 400 plus 2, we will cancel out it, so it will become 200. So 200 into 3, 600. So it will become 1000 coulomb. Clear? Got it? So answer will be second. Second option will be correct. So let's see. Yes, this is the solution given. Okay, so second option is correct option. So let's move on to the next question. Okay, so this is the another question of galvanometer. Okay, a galvanometer having coil resistance 10 ohm shows a full scale deflection for a current 3 milliampere. For it to measure a current of 8 ampere, the value of shunt should be. Okay, so again I am making a diagram. This is galvanometer. Okay, so galvanometer will show the full scale deflection for 3 milliampere, and if we connect the shunt resistance parallel to it, it can measure the 8 ampere current. Okay, it means total current it can measure is 8 ampere. Okay, total current that it can measure is 8 ampere. Okay, so galvanometer is showing full scale deflection at 3 milliampere. Okay, that means Ig is equal to 3 milliampere, and the I minus Ig, that current is flowing through that shunt will be 8 minus 3 milliampere, that is 0.003. It will become 7.997. Okay, got it? So this is the amount of current that is passing through the shunt. Okay, now we have to find the value of shunt, and value of G, resistance of this galvanometer, is also given. G is equal to 10 ohm. Okay, now we can find the potential difference across this galvanometer and this shunt resistance is same. So we can write Ig into G will be equal to I minus Ig into S. So we have to find this S. So Ig is given 3 milliampere. We can write it's 3 into 10 to the power minus 3. Okay, we can write for simplicity. Okay, so for simplicity we can write it as 8 minus 3 into 10 to the power minus 3. Okay, so it will be solved easily. So Ig is 10 to the power 3 into 10 to the power minus 3 into G is 10 ohm, equal to I minus Ig is 8 minus 3 into 10 to the power minus 3 into S. Okay, so it will become 3 into 10 to the power minus 2, and this thing will go there. 8 minus 3 into 10 to the power minus 3 will be equal to S. Okay, you can solve it by any means. So I am solving with powers. Okay, so 8, I will write 8,000 into 10 to the power minus 3 minus 3 into 10 to the power minus 3. Okay, I will write this thing as this. Okay, so it will become 10 to the power minus 3, 10 to the power minus 3 will get common and go up there. It will become 10 to the power minus 2 plus 3, so 10 to the power 1. So in above it will become 30, and 800 minus 8000 minus 3 will become 7997. Okay, so after solving this you will get the answer. Okay, so you can solve it further. So it will result in this 3.75 into 10 to the power minus 3. So third option will be correct option. Got it? Okay, let's move on to the next question. Okay, so in the given circuit, current flowing through the resistance 20 ohm is 0.3 ampere, while the ammeter reads 0.9 ampere. Okay, so the value of R1 in ohm, okay, you have to find. So we know that all the three resistances are connected in parallel, so potential difference across all the resistances will be same. Okay, so the current flowing through this 20 ohm is given 0.3 ampere. Okay, so you can consider this current as I1, that is flowing through R1, and from this 15 ohm you can consider current as I3, and through this is I2 you can consider. Okay, so current flowing through this 20 ohm resistance is 0.3, and this resistance is also given, so potential difference across this 20 ohm will be V20 will be equal to I 0.3 into R. So what is R? 20 ohm. So it becomes 6 volt. So 6 volt is the potential difference across this 20 ohm resistance. Okay, so potential difference across all the resistances is 6 volt. Okay, so potential difference across this resistance is also same. We have to find the current. While ammeter reads 0.9 ampere, it means I1 plus I2 plus I3 will be equal to 0.9 ampere. Okay, now potential difference across this V15 is equal to I3 into 15. Okay, so I3 we can find from here. So V15 is, we know that potential difference across all the resistors is same, that is V, which is equal to V20, V15 and VR1. Okay, so that potential difference is 15, that is we have calculated 6 volt. So 6 volt is equal to what is I3, that we have to calculate, and 15 ohm is the resistance through this 15 ohm resistor. Okay, so I3 will become 6 by 15, that is 2 by 5, which means I3 is 0.4 ampere. So we know the value of I2. We know the value of I2, which is 0.3 ampere. We know the value of I3, 0.4 ampere, and we know the total current that is measured by ammeter, that is I1 plus I2 plus I3. Now we can find the I1 from here. So I1 will be I1 plus what is I2, 0.3, plus what is I3, 0.4, equal to 0.9. So it will become 0.7. So I1 will become 0.2 ampere. Got it? So let's see the answer. So answer will be 0.2 ampere. Okay, we have to find the R1. Okay. So R1 will be, so R1, this from this potential difference is same. So VR1 is equal to V, which is equal to I1 R1. So VR1 is 6 volt and current is 0.2 ampere into R1. So R1 will become 6 by 0.2, which will become 30 ohm. Okay, so which is the correct option is given. Okay, so these are the some JEE PYQs. I hope you enjoyed the session. Thank you.